to be a part of anything Marvel is like a dream for me, and I'm assuming for Sam as well. I mean, we are people who love that world. I mean,
I dream it every night. Just dream about Marvel.
Put us in a Marvel movie together. There's got to be two characters that look kind of like us in a Marvel movie.
There's got to be.
I really enjoyed the After Party, but what made you attracted to this series?
Well, the concept, a bunch of things, right? The chance to get to work with like a brilliant cast, the concept of like a murder mystery whodunit where everybody's recollection of the story is told through a different genre of film. I don't think that's ever been done before. So it's such a fun and interesting take on the whodunit on the classic whodunit, and then also to work with Phil and Chris. They're geniuses, and I'll speak for both Ben and myself, but anything that they'd ever do, I want to be a part of.
And Sam, I did want to ask you this. Your character, 𝐒𝐿Ana, kind of takes a leadership role in the series, but what's the best way you can describe the character?
Well, 𝐒𝐿Ana is a bit of a nerd, but not like a super dork nerd like his tattoo on his face would say. He is a hopeless romantic, and his point of view is told through romantic comedy, who was coming back to this reunion to hopefully spark up a love connection with his high school would-be sweetheart who was in love with Zoe, and then everything kind of goes afoul, and he's then made the prime suspect, so it's up to him and his best buddy 𝐿𝐴SPER to try and actually figure out who the real killer is, and who knows who it is.
Right. And Ben, I wanted to ask you about 𝐿𝐴SPER. One of the things I liked about the series is in episode 3, you did 3 musical segments. How was it like showing off your musical talent?
Man, it was scary at the beginning. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that much. When I found out I was singing and dancing, I was like, oh, it felt so exciting. And then when it's like, okay, you got to record next week. I was like, what? So it was really fun. I got to play different genres of music in there. And I got to do one with Sam. And so it was heaven. And so I had this incredible vocal coach called Fiora Cutler. And then I had Kat Burns do choreography. So I had to do both, which is crazy. I've never done either of those in a professional fashion ever in my life. So to do them both and do them at the same time, which was very difficult, it was a blast. I had so much fun. I feel very lucky.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was really awesome to see. And with the After Party being focused on a high school reunion and obviously the After Party, did you guys go to your high school reunion? And if so, how was the experience?
I haven't been to one yet, and this would be my 20th reunion this year, but I don't think it's going to happen. So.
I went to one 5 years after, and I was still living in New York. I was, doing comedy and not getting any money. And the biggest thing that it took away from it was we had it at this biker bar that we always used to go in high school called Candlelight Inn in Westchester, New York. And all the fried food that I loved is in high school. When I ate it years later, my stomach immediately was like, we can't do this anymore. I can't eat this anymore. Like I couldn't eat the same stuff. Because in high school, I feel like I was just like, I would just eat anything. And then when I was older, my stomach is like, no, you're older and Jewish now. You can't do any of this.
Great. That's awesome. The last question from me before I let you guys go. Oh, wow. But last question from me. You guys have worked together. You doing a great job in the After Party. But you also in the Marvel animated series 𝐿𝐴SPER. How is that experience? And will there be a second season?
Oh my God, you're the first. We're both in it. We're both in it.
We're both in 𝐿𝐴SPER.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, Sam, I forgot about that. Did you even know? For a second, I was like, like the first 𝐿𝐴SPER question of the night.
I was like, oh yeah, 𝐿𝐴SPER question. Okay, yeah. I was like, oh, we both are. That's right. It was so much fun. Yeah. Jordan Blum put together such a great show. Patton's a genius. Everybody in the cast is a genius. It's such a fun thing to play. I don't know if there's going to be a second season. At least I haven't been made aware of one.
No, I've heard that not yet. If it's going to happen, it has not been greenlit yet. But to be a part of anything Marvel is like a dream for me, and I'm assuming for Sam as well. I mean, we are people who love that world. I mean,
I dream it every night. Just dream about Marvel.
Put us in a Marvel movie together. There's got to be two characters that look kind of like us in a Marvel movie.
There's got to be.
Yeah.
There has to be, and definitely looking out for that if it does happen. But Sam, Ben, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it, and continued success to both of you. The Afterparty is a murder mystery comedy, a really great series. But what made you attracted to the show?
Well, it's funny. Chris Miller created this show like 10 years ago, and it was going to be a movie originally. And I remember hearing about it and being like, oh, wow, high school reunion murder mystery. That is a very original idea I've never heard of. I would like to be in that one day. And then years later, he kind of redeveloped as a TV show, and he reached out and said, hey, this is going to happen. And so it was very built up in my mind. And when I read it and I saw how he executed it, it was the world's easiest yes. I was just like, oh, this guy's brilliant. This is staggeringly brilliant. And then on top of it, you see who they're bringing in. You see they're bringing in, your friend Dave and Zoe and Sam. And it was just couldn't have said yes. I would have done it for free. And I told my lawyer that. My lawyer said, shut up.
Oh, that's awesome. But I did want to ask you this. Your character, Brett, is kind of like a tough guy, can fight, can do a bunch of things. But so
thank you.
Oh, yeah, of course. But how is it like kind of playing that type of bad boy type of character?
Well, it was fun. The really fun thing about it is like we've seen, a character who is that kind of tough guy who knows a little bit of mixed martial arts and is willing to beat someone up. And so I was excited to do that just because I'm just like that kind of stuff. But the really fun part was to play the pathetic side of him, the side who is really just like a middle-aged guy who's made a lot of mistakes and is trying in vain to get his ex-wife to think he's cool. So to know that that's kind of what I'm basing it on, like the comedy of that was very, very fun.
Of course. And Zoe, your character, who is also named Zoe, is one that's loved by everyone and seemed like to be very popular in high school. Were you anything like your character growing up?
Weirdly, yes.
Okay.
We don't just share the name. Let's see. I studied art pretty seriously in high school. I was in this studio art program that my mom actually ran for 3 years. And my sister also studied art under her. And then my parents were both visual artists. I ended up my dad ran the glass department at RISD, which is the school that Zoe goes to in the show. Ike's character, Brett, goes to Brown. I actually went to Brown. I'm born and raised Providence, Rhode Island. So yeah, there's a lot of similarities, and it was sometimes it was eerie, but it was really fun to play her, and I have a lot of I care for her, and she seems familiar.
Of course, and with it being about high school reunion and after party, did you guys go to your high school reunion? And if so, how was that experience?
I did go to my high school reunion, and it was great. It was really great. And I'm sure there's horror stories out there. No one died. No one was murdered.
No one died. Okay.
But it was, I'm pretty close with a lot of the people I went to high school with. So, and I'm from Chicago. So, we just sat around and drank hundreds of beers and talked about Michael Jordan and, what would have happened if he would have re-signed for another 2-3 years. Could they got another 2 rings? Probably. Yeah. I think yes, but
I think so too. Yeah.
Yes. I've missed my high school reunions, not on purpose, just by accident, but
she wasn't invited. Let's be honest, she wasn't invited. No. She's trying to play it cool. Like I couldn't go, but they talked about it. They didn't want to.
Yeah, I was 86th from my high school reunion, but I did get to go to my college reunion.
That's awesome.
And those are really fun.
Oh, of course. But that's it for me. Ike, Zoe, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. Again, love the show and continued success to you. The Afterparty is a comedy murder mystery. What made you attracted to the series?
Oh my gosh. This was like a dream project to be a part of. Coming from the mind of Chris Miller and the team of Lord and Miller to the cast, it was, I mean, even before reading the scripts, I was so thrilled to have this opportunity, but then the scripts themselves were just so good, as every Lord and Miller production seems to be, just so good. That like athleticism of changing genres with this high quality of a team was an opportunity I'll be forever grateful for.
Yeah, I think there are certain people. I think there are certain people whose name you hear, and if the offer comes in, you say yes before they've even finished the sentence. And I think Chris Miller's one of them. And then you get the added list of who's in the cast, and your eyes widen even further. And then you read the script, and your eyelids are literally wrapping around the back of your head. It's a pretty special thing to be a part of.
Absolutely. And Ilana, this question for you. Your character, 𝐏𝐶𝐩𝐂, is very unique. So what's the best way to describe her character or your character?
I would describe 𝐏𝐶𝐩𝐂 as a wounded train wreck. Yeah. Who deserves a second look at why she is the way she is, but she is a hot mess.
And Jamie, your character, Walt, is very disrespected throughout this series. Did you know someone like him when you were growing up?
I think there was a twang of him in everyone. You know, I think that everyone's had that experience at a party or a situation where they just can't quite get with the rhythm of the party. They can't quite access a conversation. I mean, you know, it can be said that other people could help him a little more, but I do think that it's difficult to talk to someone who has no idea who he is. I think that he's struggled to find a bit of himself. So I think that I can maybe relate to it myself, as in I've definitely had experiences where I just haven't got the right energy at a party and just end up going home, which is, I think, what Walt probably should have done.
Yeah, absolutely. And with this being a murder mystery, there's going to be fans who are going to have their theories and speculations on what's going to happen, how the outcome is going to be. When you were filming, did you guys have your prediction of what's going to happen?
Well, I think we actually we had the experience of reading the scripts, I think, just before we started shooting. So we did know, but you know, I think that you know, in answer to that question, I suppose throughout the reading of the script, me and Ilana have discussed we had absolutely no idea from reading it. I don't think we're natural detectives in real life. But you know, it was our job to know in order to imbue the scenes with the sense of mystery required to give everyone else the experience that we had reading it.
Of course. And last question from me before I let you guys go is, you know, with this focusing on a high school reunion, did you guys go to your high school reunions at all?
I did go to my high school reunion, and it was really helpful to like understand how much time has gone by, and that it was my 10 year. I was like, oh, I'm 28. I'm not 18. Look at us. It's really like a helpful, you kind of just, I always feel 18, or like I kind of always feel like I'm 15 or something. So I think that's actually like an important milestone in your adulthood, to go back and be with people, not only your best friends that you've been friends with for a long time, but people that you used to know. It was trippy.
Yeah, I didn't go to I don't think we had a high school reunion for my school. Right. I think everyone was a bit lazy, but like I've been saying, I think that social media is kind of a daily high school reunion anyway. So I think if I turned up and I saw everyone, I'd know, I wouldn't have any questions to ask, because I know more about them now than I probably did at school, because there were no photos of people.
Yeah. Of course. Well, Ilana, Jamie, I love the show. Thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it, and continued success to both of you.